All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Wiley Show. I am your host, but let's open up with an intro because a lot of y'all did not get a chance to hear it. Let's open up right now because we know people are just getting their notifications, and let's get into this new intro.
Exclusive. That's right. Bringing you the best in politics and celebrity gossip. This is the Wiley Show.
Y'all need to listen to that, okay?
Don't stop. Keep it going.
All right, so I want to thank my team for that. We are here with a new episode. I want to get into the first subject. Jennifer Williams is pleading with her fans for help in tracking down a conman who stole her Range Rover after revealing she was a victim of alleged scam. That happened Friday, April 24th. The Basketball Wives star posted a side-by-side photo of herself on top of her Range and the man she is accusing of stealing the vehicle from her. And this was the caption. She said, "I'm asking for some help finding my Range Rover that this man, Aaron Nichols, stole from me." She captioned the Instagram post. He goes by many aliases, Nick Daniel or Chris. He have conned many women and men out of cars and large amounts of money. She continues and said, lives in the Atlanta area with frequents Detroit, Houston, and Vegas. If you have seen him or a victim of his antics, please DM me, email my attorney. Of course, she put that information. And of course, she had the man picture up, and let's definitely show you all that picture. Okay, because we definitely going to get into it. Now, there's no award amount because I'm not even calling. Let me get on the phone. First of all, let me see. Let me call Miss Jennifer. Hello, can I speak to Jennifer Williams, please? This is Marquise Wiley from the Wiley Show. Yes. So I read an article on the BET that your Range Rover was stolen and you want some help finding the man, bald head, kind of good. Not that he looked very attractive. Look like he got a body. I can see why you let him get your Range Rover. He probably got a good peen too. But anywho, I'm just calling because I want to know, is it a reward for if we find your Range Rover? Because I ain't seen no award amount on there. Because if it ain't no award amount, I ain't going to try to help you find it. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not a award amount? There we go. I'm sorry about that. We was having some technical difficulties. Let me go ahead and do that again. Hey, can I speak to Jennifer Williams? This is Wiley from the Wiley Show. So I just want to know, have a couple of questions because I did see your interview with Nene Leaks. And so it was some things that you were saying in there. Well, first and foremost, it was some things that you were saying. Let me just definitely give a rundown. One of my producers said you met him at a high-end hotel. And y'all started dating. And I want to know, when you start dating him at the high-end hotel, did he get on top of you and do all that type of stuff and make you forget to use common sense? Okay, let me continue. Then my producer said Jen only known him for a year before she gave him her car to put up in the garage so she can close on a house in Atlanta. So it was just a lot of different things that I want to do. Want to ask you in this regard. Then it continued to say he never gave her the car back. He is a friend of Shireen for Real Housewives. Anytime somebody is friends with another scammer, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Anytime that man is friends with Shireen from a lady that had a house, trying to build a house for years, you got to be careful. He was friends with a scammer because it's like she scammed her way through all on Real Housewives of Atlanta, even trying to get that house together. I heard allegedly that she was scamming and getting people out of their money. I'm just saying. So let's continue with it. I mean, anytime. And let me continue to read that. Then my producer, we pretty much summed up in here. He never gave her the car back. He's a friend of Shireen from Real House of Atlanta. He have 10 children. Well, look, judging by him, he probably got some good peen. He probably sling it. Just by judging, I ain't shocked that he have all them kids. He had con people around the U.S. Nene will put the interview on her YouTube channel as well. Just started. She's still working with the insurance company and police. She did not provide any receipt. The text message he had said she was talking about the cast of Basketball Wives are fake. She has the real text messages. So this is my whole response about it. You got to be careful who you let lay on top of you, because there's some men out here will prey on you. Some men out here will prey on you, will take your car and everything else. I was just watching a documentary on some of these Nigerian men. It's a huge thing that goes on in Australia. And they preyed on, these overweight Australian women, and they were sending them thousands of dollars. And one of the Australian women, she said she just wanted a man, not knowing that she got scammed, and she still couldn't hold on. She was still reading the emails, thinking that the man was real, and they told her, "No, ma'am, you got scammed." Thousands of dollars that woman paid. And if that was me, she could have paid me that $1,000. I would have gave her what she wanted. And it wouldn't have been no scam. She wanted to be held. She wanted to be touched. She'd have gave me that $1,000. I think she said $60-some thousand. I was watching that on YouTube. And I got up out of that air mattress, and I tried to Google her name. I wanted to call her. I said, hey, my name is Mr. Wiley. I'm from the Netherlands. If you still interested in having a man and you still got some coinage, I'm here. I'll take it. Man, I will blow your mind. We will have a good time. You want to go to dinner? Want to go to lunch? We quarantine. We'll wear some masks together out there. Don't make me no difference. We could be quarantined together. I'll be your quarantine babe. You paying $60-some thousand and all that type of stuff. Shoot. You pay my flight to go to Australia, I'll be there. I'll be right there. What you mean? So you'll do that with just money will make things rise. I'm gonna just tell you that right then, and I don't care how ugly you look. You got some money, it'll make it rise. Look at Flavor Flav, all them women he had over him. He's just as ugly can be. I'm just telling you right then and there. But that fame and that money, man, please. It'll rise. That $60,000 sounds really good. Right now, I guarantee you I'll be upgraded from an air mattress. I'm going to say that right now. And she said so many words. She wanted to be held and touched. I said, that's all she want to do. And she gave that man $60-some thousand. Man, I would have did that. Hold her, touched her, backflipped her, whatever she wanted. We'd have had a good old time. Baby, after she get through lead that, she would be delivered. Bad. As long as she keeps 60, 80 something, I can do a lot with 60 something. I'll pay my balance off. That'll knock out 10 grand right there. So I have 50. Put a little 10 grand into my show. Then put another 10 grand into some investments. Give my mama about a couple of thousand. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. Put a little bit more in my savings and keep going. So if any woman you that desperate like that, you ain't got to go chat with nobody in Africa on no email when you watching me on the show for free. Yes, I wanted to get you. You know what you can do. Don't worry about it. So what if you know you're not that desirable? If you got a little corner you got to pay for it, I'm available. I'm just saying it right there to there. This is for entertainment purposes only. But if you want to do it for real, you know what you got to do. Because it is entertainment purpose only. But if you really got it like that and you really want to be touched and held and hold and talk to, have a conversation, I was right there. I'll be right there. Self-quarantine and all. That is when the self-quarantine gonna be broken to get to where you at, okay? I'm just saying. So speaking about this Jennifer Williams, like I have done a little research. This was the same woman that was dating Tim, you know, she always get abusive men's or scammer. Eventually, Jennifer, in my eyes, she gets what I call pigmatized. You know, when you get pigmatized, you get these aggressive, thuggish type of men. Some that went to prison, you know, Tim from y'all know who he is from the restaurant Sweetie Pies. Tim Norm, y'all know how that she got a restraining order against him because he said that he was abusive and X, Y, and Z. But I just think that she loved these aggressive men, and when she can't handle it, she want to go out here and scream victim. You know what I'm saying? She loved Ping. And when she don't go her way, she want to run to the media for attention. I don't believe that she lost that Range Rover. She probably gave it to the man and probably doing it to be relevant, to be on shows, to get interviewed by Nene Leaks. I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe that Tim allegedly was harassing her and that she had to get a research. I just don't believe all that type of stuff. What I do believe is that she doing this for some attention, for some clicks and views, and to stay relevant in the media. Because ain't nobody talking about no Jennifer Williams. Every time her name is mentioned, she either getting scammed or she getting a restraining order on somebody. And let me move on before she try to get a restraint on me and play victim again. Maybe she'll try to be in part 99. And so I met Wiley in 1999. He wasn't all that, and I was 9 years old. But she'll think of some type of crazy story. And then Wendy Williams in that interview, she said, this have nothing to do with Atlanta. This could have happened anywhere. This could have happened because she trying to trash Atlanta. And Nene Leakes got into her feelings, baby. She turned that little weed to the side. She said, this have nothing to do with Atlanta. This have nothing to do with Atlanta. You could have got scammed anywhere. You could have. This had nothing to do with Atlanta. That's you. You want to get with these men, get some pain by any means necessary, and all that stuff. You need to stop allowing these no good men come in your drawers and take your time. I'm just saying, take your time. We'll put these people through a process. You know, you need to vet these folks. You could have easily had your private investigator vet. You got money. How you keep letting these people scam it? And then I heard my girl, and please don't let this be the truth. Please. I just hope this is not the truth. I heard that my Jennifer Lewis got scammed too. I don't know how true that is. Give me a second. Jennifer Lewis, is that true? Or was that a rumor that she got scammed? Did my girl Jennifer Lewis get scammed too? I really don't hope. I hope that she ain't get scammed. I heard that she got scammed.
To hear important instructions, press 2.
And all these people be getting scammed because they be so quick to deal with these no good trifling men. They don't call the Wiley Show.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Sit down somewhere and get up there and act. Y'all know who Jennifer Lewis is. Y'all know she the black mother of Hollywood. Y'all know who she is. She be playing on Blackish and stuff. So she put on this all allegedly because I heard. Let me go to her page because I did hear that she had got scammed. And I believe I read that on her page. And I think people said that they don't care. We quarantine. What we gonna do? We definitely help you in during no pandemic. Let me see if I can find her page. Is this it right here? No, this ain't it. Did she delete her page? Oh, there we go. Oh, because she wrote something on here. Oh, she probably deleted. But yeah, I did see something on there that she said she got scammed. You got too much money, Jennifer Lewis. Who would you get scammed for? Oh, she probably deleted. But yeah, I did see something on there. I heard that she said she got scammed. You got too much money, Jennifer Lewis. And I read the book. You get scammed for? Oh, she probably deleted. But yeah, I did see something on there that she said she got scammed. You got too much money, Jennifer Lewis. And I read the book. You get scammed for? Oh, she probably deleted. But yeah, I did see something on there that she said she got scammed. You got too much money, Jennifer Lewis. And I read the book. You get scammed for? Oh, she probably deleted. But yeah, I did see something on there. Let me talk to you. Why? Let me spill a little game to you. Let me spill a little game to you. Wiley. You ain't gotta sit here and be around all these women and do all that work and all that type of stuff. Wiley. You could just go ahead and live up on the women. Wiley. You ain't gotta sit here and live up on all that stuff, Wiley, and all that type of stuff. Just go ahead and live up on the women, Wiley. You ain't got to do all that. They'll pay all your bills. I haven't worked in about 40 years. And this man out there that will tell you how to the game, because there's a lot of women out here that is desperate, that want a man by any means necessary, and they're doing all that type of stuff. Excuse me about that. I was accidentally playing something in the background, so that's why it was a little echo, so we edited it out. So, all right. And I'm going to just be honest with you. So, yeah, I read the book of Jennifer Lewis' book, Black Mother of Hollywood. So definitely she talked about being scammed and all that type of stuff. It'd be men that be telling you don't have to work. I work because I choose to be working, because I could easily live up on so many women. I don't even have to work another day in my life, especially what I'm working with. Just hit it right, lick it right. They'll pay all your bills. It's some women that exist. Now, y'all might not know no woman, but I know plenty of women that pay their man's bill. Their man ain't got to work. They come home. They do all the doubles and triples, and a man be at home. It is some women. Some of y'all with some of them women, and some of y'all know some of them women. So don't get up on there and say them women don't exist, because they exist, and it's a whole lot of them that do it. It's a whole lot of them that do it. Let me repeat again. It's a whole lot of women that out there that don't mind spending and paying money and having that man stay at home. That will never be me, but I know that much. Now, do y'all know some women like that? Because I know some women like that. I know some women, they say it's feedback. Give me a second. Let me listen to the thing. Is it feedback? Let me see. It's not feedback. It's not feedback anymore. But I know some women like that. Y'all don't believe me that no women don't exist like that? Y'all don't believe that ain't no women exist? It's women, plenty women exist like that. Hello, Jennifer. Are you one of them women that get pigmatized? Did you? It's plenty of women that exist like. I don't care what you say if you don't believe me. They exist. I've seen it. I see it every day when I go to work. Okay, there are women like that. I just don't know any. I know plenty. I don't have to work. If I didn't want to work, I didn't have to work. I could have found a desperate woman that I know I seep out there. I can smell a desperate woman that's low energy, low self-esteem, want a man. Her time is all, her biological clock is ticking out. She needs somebody. Easily, I could just say the right different things to her, hold her, whatever it is, and just so I can do it if I wanted to. If I really wanted to do it, I could, but I choose to get up and work and be a man. Because they definitely exist in healthcare. I see it a lot. I see it a lot. They get up and go to work, and they man be at home and everything like that. They be outside. Where you at? Where you at with my car? Where you at with my car? And all that type of thing. Got your car. He ain't working. You got to wait outside like a fool because you let him just drive your car. He ain't working. And then you outside in Paris. Everybody know your business. He ain't getting a ride by me because I'm driving off because you need to learn how to be outside in the cold because you need to have some sense and say, you ain't driving my car. A man that don't work, he don't need to drive your Buick. He don't need to drive your Hyundai. A man that don't work don't need to drive your Toyota. A man that don't work don't need to drive your Escalator. A man that don't work don't need to be driving your Chevy. That's all I'm saying. If you don't like that, something wrong with you. You're going to always end up taking care of somebody. You're going to end up depressed, sad, and all that type of stuff. So, I'm just saying. Driving your car. You at work. He ain't working. He's just at home. Cheat on you with everybody. You better go ahead and get you some sense and say, no, it's my car. The car is in my name. You don't need to drive. Walk. But you got to be strong to do that. Some of y'all, I'm speaking to the people that want to hear this message. All right, let's move right along. But if I wanted to do that, I could. but I don't. I choose to get my crippled self up and go to work. I choose to take the air out of my air mattress and go to work. I choose to do that. Because that's what a man's supposed to do. It is unnatural for a man to depend upon a woman to take care of him when he's able to take care of himself. It is unnatural for a man to wait on his woman to pay all his bills, to clean up after him, do everything, and he do absolutely nothing. That is unnatural. The God that I serve wants man to be the provider for the household. That's the God that I serve. Because it's unnatural. It's something wrong with me. You struggling with groceries to come in the house, tripping over floors, and your man still playing a video game. That's unnatural to me. And God ain't in it. You falling down, tripping and slipping and sliding, and he in there playing a video game. It's snowing outside. You in there shoveling the snow. Getting muscle, backache, and slip disc. He out there eating chicken while you out there shoveling snow. That's unnatural. You out there struggling to shovel that snow. He right out there, baby, you sure you don't need no help? He need to be slapped with that shovel. It's just me. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to be married to a man. I'm doing all the heavy work and he ain't doing nothing. He's able to work. I understand you sick and you can't do. Common sense to say you the wife, you to help me. You supposed to help through sickness and health, vice versa. But if that man is healthy, he's supposed to be shoveling the snow, taking out the garbage, cleaning up, helping you, especially if he ain't working. The house should be clean. It should be spotless. It shouldn't be you working a triple, and I'm saying it because somebody's weighing heavy on my heart, and they need to hear this. It shouldn't be you wearing a triple, you dealing with a pandemic, you wearing all these N95 masks, you working all these type of hours, then you have to go home with a trifling, no good, nothing stinking man that ain't doing nothing. And you got to go home with that kid's dirty, the house is dirty, he don't want to provide, and you just got to work at a 16, 17-hour shift. Wearing your N95 mask, the same mask you've been wearing for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the same gown. You shouldn't have to go home and have to clean up after a no good trifling man. That shouldn't be. The house should be spotless. The food should be cooked. The bath water should be in the bathtub. He should be ready to provide and be there and serve you and rub your feet. Some people, this sounds foreign to some women because they never had a good man. You shouldn't be all that type of stuff, no good traveling man, all that time. And that's what someone don't like to be bothered with Wiley. You don't supposed to be doing all that type of stuff. Good, a man supposed to work. It's natural. It should be you supposed to be one of the greatest men out here. You tell your wife, baby, if you want to work, you work. It should be a choice. I believe every woman, when you get married, this is what I believe, that you should have that wife should have a choice whether they want to work or stay at home. That's the kind of old school teaching I was taught, and I ain't changing for nobody. Because that's real. It should be a choice whether you want to work or don't work. Some of y'all don't have that choice because you got to do it anyway because you can't depend on that no good thing because you can't keep a job. Can't keep a job. So you better stay working. You can't even quit a day because he always want to quit. You don't understand. The boss man, he real me. I can't deal with all that. You supposed to be a man. You need to be slapped. Your wife takes so much stuff and she just stay on that job, but yet you can't take a little something. You want to quit. And she got to pay all the bills and all that type of stuff. And let me go ahead and get off here. I've seen women, and we're going to get into the Chingy stuff, but I'm going to preach this message right quickly. I've seen women, they man embarrass them, cheats on them, they get to fighting for their man. I've seen that happen. And I say, sister, I told her sister, I said, sister, she said, yes, Marquise. I said, never fight and try to beat up the other woman. You need to address that with your man because you see how she got you out of your character and your man still walking around smiling on the grin on his face. You focus on him. And if he's embarrassing you, you address him. But don't put your freedom at risk because you want to get that woman together. You check your man. And if your man don't respect you enough to honor you enough to not sling that pain with other women, with your co-workers or with your other people, he is deserving to be with you. Never let the other woman get you up out of character because he is the blame. He slept with her. He did it. He the blame, not her. You correct him because he the one that said, baby, I love you. She didn't make that commitment. He made it. So you address him. And you address that at home so you don't mess up your money at work. Address that at home privately, and you can keep your coin coming. But never embarrass yourself at job. You mad because your boyfriend or your man sleeping with one of the co-workers and you fight in a place. You about to lose your job. You get escorted off your job, and guess what? He's still walking around free. Act like ain't nothing happened. And you 40, 50-some years old acting like that. They're going to talk about you. It shouldn't be. That's out of order to embarrass your girlfriend or wife or your significant other. You cheat on her and then a woman all in her face. That's disrespectful. And he only there with you. You paying the bills. The apartment is in your name. The car's in your name. Everything is in your name. And yet he want to sling pain and disrespect you like that. You better get your man that will appreciate you and uplift you and treat you as the queen that you are and not like dirt on the floor. I'm just saying, I know it's tight, but it's right. And this type of teacher needs to be taught all over the world. Men should not be sitting down, mistreating women, and the women doing all the work. That's unnatural, and I don't believe in it at all. Well, let's continue. This why you get up to this show, you think we about to just talk about Jennifer Williams and getting scammed, and you wind up about to get you a message. Let's get into Chingy, right? Fair. All right. Chingy was on a show, and Chingy finally admit that let's go to the video. Let's go to the video because I think y'all want to see this with Chingy. All right, Chingy. I don't know if y'all know who that is, but that was a young man that did right there. And that was allegedly the young man that allegedly slept with a transgender woman. Now, I don't know how true that is. But what I do know, when she said that lie and when she started that campaign on that brother, it destroyed his rap career. Talk back to me. It destroyed his rap career. Once it was said that he slept with a transgender woman. Y'all remember that Cindy Starr? Y'all remember that? And I know Cindy Starr very personally. Grew up with Sydney in Chicago, and she came out and said they slept together. Now, it could have been a truth because it was some pictures. But all I do know, his career, right there, right now, sit down the industry, blackballed Chingy. Yes, they did. They snatched them bags. Let's go to it. Let's see.
Chingy got the words, man. That he getting to the hole in the heart, man. That's why he got celebrities basically saying that he had sex with him years ago, and he had to deny it. You remember a couple of months ago? We can't dry snitch on him, Mike. We can't dry snitch on him, Mike. No, we ain't dry snitching. It was out. Everybody said that.
I know you good. No, I'm gonna because I'm gonna tell you right. I'm gonna keep it all the way authentic. Okay. I'm gonna keep it authentic with you about whatever you need.
Okay, so we're gonna get into it. So a couple about 6 months ago, Tiffany Haddish came out on Ellen and basically said that she smashed Chingy. Yeah. And Chingy actually denied that she smashed Tiffany.
So now I gotta tell you what happened.
Okay.
Was it good? I gotta tell you what happened. So look, I actually didn't remember that. I don't remember it still to this day. So I had to call my brother, who I know everything. And so I asked him, I was like, because back then I used to drink and shit, and I was like a bowling ball. I was knocking them down.
Woo! Chingy got the words, man. That he getting to the hole.
I'm talking about knocking them down. So I called him. I was like, hey, man, did that happen? he said, yeah, that happened. He said, I was with her friend. You had her one night. Everybody was fucked up. You was in my room. Then her went to your room and whoopty whoop. So I said, it is what it is. It is what it is. So,
and you know what, Mike? You know what, Mike? I know.
So there you go, right in there. And let me get to the piece about it that he didn't remember. That's typical because you can be drunk and a celebrity that you could be smashed. I've known somebody in the industry, they can't remember having a sucker. They would have every week, every night, you can't remember everybody that you smash, especially if you having alcohol and all of that type of stuff. Now, with the piece, with the Sydney Star piece, she came out years later and said that she lied. And that's what I'm saying, that she lied on Chingy. And that it didn't happen, and that she over-exaggerated. And with Sydney Star piece was, I'm gonna be famous by any means necessary. If I have to lie on you, I'm gonna be famous. And that is what Sydney Star, her motive was. She scammed and lied her way to the top. And you can send this video to her, and it's the truth. She have literally lied and scammed her way to the top, faked it till she make it to the top. Because the Sydney Star that I know, I might even get blocked with it. She used to say, PayPal me videos and send me something to PayPal. I will send you videos. She have done that. And so she pretty much got to all the way to Love and Hip Hop and all that. Because she always wanted to be famous. She would tell me in Chicago when I would see her around on Boys Town and walking around and I would walk with her, she always wanted to be famous. Always. She always wanted to be famous. I didn't always agree with her tactics, but that's what she wanted. So even with the Chingy situation with Tiffany Haddish, and I know, they said Tiffany Haddish cookies probably is not that desirable or not that memorable you can forget. But no, I read her book and she got it in with a guy that was disabled and he couldn't even hardly talk. He had a disabled, he's in a group home, and she wrote a book. And this is when I found out that Tiffany Haddish is a brilliant comedian and a brilliant storyteller. I read her book and I was laughing on the plane. My ears were stopped up. And what was I going when I read this book? I think I was in Atlanta. No, it wasn't Atlanta. Somewhere I was going, I think it was Chicago. I was going somewhere and I was literally reading her book from there and it was so good. And she said she smashed a guy that was disabled in a group home. And she said that her punani had powers that the guy couldn't hardly say, he talked like that. And then she said when she was riding him, he was in there, he was like, oh, yeah. She said it with a clear voice. And she said she couldn't believe that he wasn't talking with the slurring over there. He talked regular. And she said her punani had powers. But then again, since we talking about being with scamming men, she said she was with a man that was a scammer and that was abusive and that was this. But then her husband said they ain't really happy like that. So I need to call Tiffany Haddish. She said she got some delivering punani. That's what she said. She said it got power. I'm gonna read this book again. Really did. I read this book in one day and I remember that story. So if I ever interview Tiffany Haddish, I'm definitely gonna have to break it down in that story. What up, Ken? I see you in the chat. What up, Ken Walker? Waller. Thank you, Ken. Shout out Facebook family. So yeah. Now with Chingy, he made Tiffany Haddish look stupid. He's talking about, oh, remember, girl, ain't nobody been checking for no Chingy. You should have got up and say, yeah, right there. I hit that spot right there. You should have admitted it. She got you in the news. She didn't have to say your name, Chingy, because a lot of folks are like, who that? A lot of these new folks don't know who no Chingy is. So you could have really, you know what I'm saying, got with that, trying to make her look dumb, knowing that you smashed her and all that type of stuff. Just admit it. She's a real woman. She's a natural woman. She ain't got no, Wiley, don't say it. She ain't got no pee. She last time I checked, that's a real woman. Natural born woman. Cisgender woman. Last time I checked. I didn't see that she said that, yeah. So I'm just saying, why you running away from that? You should have immediately, you served the type of rumors and allegations that was said about you right there. You should have said right there that it's real. And Ken, I want you to hit the link, Ken. I see you in the chat, Ken. I see you on Facebook. So you hit that link when I drop that link. And please have on a shirt. I don't want you to know how your shirt off because I don't want them to put you in no series. So make sure you got a shirt on, Ken. If you hear me, I see you on Facebook. Make sure you got a shirt on with your chocolate self. I don't want people be saying so with your shirt off. You know, everybody can't handle that. So make sure your chocolate behind got on a shirt. I can't wait to see you in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Anyhow, let's move on. After this pandemic, I'm definitely gonna visit you in Atlanta. A lot of people I'm gonna visit in Atlanta. So I read her book, and I highly suggest you all go get Tiffany Haddish book, The Last Black Unicorn. All right. He should have just kept acting like it didn't happen and makes him look crazy. It does, especially with all the rumors that he had. You know what I'm saying? Especially all the rumors that he had. Tiffany Haddish could have been like, yeah, that slow guy that I said that I smashed, it was Wiley from the Wiley Show. Oh, hey, it was Wiley. I would have been, yes, Tiffany Haddish, and it was good. I would have been the first one out there, man. You think I'm a backtrack with a top-notch celebrity, a top-notch, comedian? And this is the thing, because you know what, Tiffany Haddish, and I hope the producers are sending stuff like they send everything else. At first, I did not like Tiffany Haddish. I thought she wasn't funny, right? Because I was listening to everybody instead of paying attention to her for myself. Right. So one day I went to, I think it was Barnes and Noble. Yeah, it was Barnes and Noble. I picked up her book and I read her, and I got to know Tiffany Haddish for myself. And I kept reading. And when she did a show, she had got an exclusive Netflix deal. It was so lucrative that she told the Netflix executives that I want to bring female comics for a special. Instead of me getting this big check for myself, I want to bring folks on the show and have them to come in for myself. You know, that's why. So she brought a lot of comedians on the She Ready piece, right? A lot of people she brought on, and she did not have to do it, but that's how we learned about Flame Monroe. Now, mind you, everybody, including myself, in the gay community in Chicago knew who she was if you go way back with drag shows, et cetera, et cetera. But nationally, internationally speaking, people didn't know who a Flame Monroe was from a huge platform. But since she made a deal and since she knew Tiffany Haddish, Tiffany Haddish did not forget about her, that she put her on there, right? So a lot of people got fame for being on there. Okay, Ken, check your inbox. I just sent it to your inbox. Check your inbox, Ken. All right. So with that, she brought Flame and so many other people on there. So again, I got to know her for myself. She's funny to me, and she is an amazing storyteller, right? So I love her, and I really got to know her for myself. And that's how I try to tell people: don't up there tell stuff. Get to know people for yourself. And stop listening to all these people on social media. Get to watch and get to know people for yourself. And that's definitely what I did. So if I ever had the opportunity to interview Tiffany Haddish, I would definitely talk about her come up and also with her mother. Just so many different things I would talk about her with, because I got her in my hand right here. So I want to interview Tiffany Haddish. All right, Tiffany Haddish, I want to interview you. And I definitely, of course, I want to interview since we're talking, I want to interview Jason Lee. Okay, we can have a beautiful conversation. And since the type of God that I serve, and he said, and the sky is the limit, I really want to interview the First Lady, Michelle Obama. I want to interview her. I want to interview the First Lady, Michelle Obama. The First Lady. I want to interview the First Lady, Michelle Obama. And, since I'm dreaming, I want to interview the First Lady, Michelle Obama. Go ahead, sister. What you want to say about the subject at hand?
I wanted to say this, Wiley. What you were talking about when it comes to the lonely women, because, I'm going to be honest. I'm a woman of a particular age, and, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I get lonely, but I have a membership at the local sex store. I stay up the street from a lot of sex stores. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, I just keep that and, just learn how to love yourself.
Right.
At least probably try to go walking 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Even if you're just not trying to lose weight, just walk.
Yeah.
And clear your mind, connect with nature, love yourself.
Yes. But you're beautiful too. Beautiful chocolate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I got to be careful, Florida, because this is the Me Too era.
I was just about to talk to you about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just wondered this. How does it feel to be a man living in this Me Too era, knowing that somebody from long time ago, somebody has made up documentaries with you and put you in the same category as Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly? This is ridiculous.
To me, it's sad, but I look at other celebrities like Marvin, Cardi B. Then they had a surviving Tasha K. It's like, had rumors about them, and you can't get mad because people gonna lie on you. You know, they lied about people in the Bible, accuse them of things they didn't do. You know, so I can't be focused on that because that's what they doing. That make them look very trashy and dirty to compare me to these people when you know it's not true. When I haven't had any type of legal problem dealing with that at all, but when you are a celebrity, people gonna say rumors. They made rumors about Trey Songz, Chris Rock, everybody that you really talk about in this era. They come up with different rumors. They do that because I want to make a platform, so I was sit there and lie. You don't have to do that with me.
Don't they come with the job?
I want to
go ahead.
Don't they come with the job? I mean, it's like a dope man knowing that like I gotta hold a gat, or that I have to have bail money. It's like
the stereotypes.
That's part of the job.
It's part of the job. But go ahead, Katie, and then I'm gonna get you Ken. Anything else?
I wanted to say this. With the situation with the documentaries and all of that rubbish. Okay. With them being men, even though they are, gay men, with them being men and you being a man. And they know the Me Too movement was made up by the film movement to come against men. It's like they're taking that woman's side to try to make you look like a monster. But I would think even amongst the LGBT community, shouldn't there be guidelines? Shouldn't there be more respect? Shouldn't there be less bullying with the people in the LGBT movement? Because some of those same people that's rolling with the movement, and I have friends in the movement, and I'm with the movement. I'm not just with the movement, but I support it. Do you know what I'm saying? But
it's like black people. Black people should be supporting each other, but we tear each other down all day. It's no different. Just because I don't know what it is about being in these communities or being in a community. Like it's like so much competition amongst each other versus working together. I don't know if it's because that's the way they set things up, but especially when it comes to about the Me Too or about women about that whole thing, because I mean, literally the whole system is built off of protecting women, period. All the laws are built off protecting women. If you know where the laws came from, that's where all of the laws just about came from, is to protect women. So at the end of the day, it's already, we already set up. And then don't add the being black and being gay on top of it, baby. That's 3 strikes. Go on, sit down.
You said a mouthful. Thank you so much for letting me in, Wiley. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you.
And I'm Katie Talk 101. You guys can go and check my channel out if you like.
Make sure y'all check out Katie Talk 101. How you spell it?
We're gonna have to have a whole show talking about this Me Too movement deal too.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Put it in there, Katie.
Like you make the show up, and I'll come on where you at, Wiley.
Okay, so make sure y'all go check out Katie Talk 101. Thank you so very much.
So,
you, Katie.
How you doing, man?
What's up?
How you been? How you doing? How you been quarantined? And I know they opened up Georgia, so have you been going out?
Y'all ain't never stopped going out. Oh my God, that's like crazy to me. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's like a part of life. Like, I mean, nobody else. I don't get it. Like, that's so scary to people. But people, I mean, you could die at any second. Anything could happen. Like,
that's true.
And people just, I don't know. I feel like it's overhyped. I feel like there's a bigger motive behind it. So, fuck quarantine. I'll be out.
But my thing is this, you want to be safe. But if you know anything about history, this is not the first time we ever dealt with a quote unquote pandemic. It just really shows you where we are as a people. You know what I'm saying? Where we are as a country, where we are as we're not as health conscious like we should. Because if we were so concerned about pandemics, everybody would have free healthcare, right? But if you can't afford to go to a doctor, we've been facing a pandemic when you can't afford.
Well, no, I would even say this is even better. I mean, if it was really a pandemic, then everybody would be getting tested.
Absolutely, and
you don't go around and just test a handful of people or say we ain't got enough tests, and then not on top of it, you claiming you ain't got no money to be making these masks and stuff, but now they got too many masks. But anyway, in the beginning they were saying they didn't have enough masks, but it's funny how you can go and make how many trillions of dollars to go pass out 1,200 to everybody else?
Yeah, and the reason why, because there's a lot of people that is passing away from this pandemic. The Kojic Church lost a lot of leaders, a lot of people in the Black community lost their lives, and this comes because of not the government doing a better job helping their citizens, right? And I always try to tell people, this is the time.
I don't think so. I just think they got blindsided. Like, y'all got to stop blaming Trump for everything. Like, I mean, like, I know y'all don't really like Trump, but stop it.
All levels, right? Because it's definitely needed. If we go back to New Orleans when they had Hurricane Katrina, do you know how they treated those poor Black and brown people? They treated them bad. It was no way that them folks should have been there for weeks with no water, no food, not able to take a shower, dead bodies on the street. And they didn't learn from that era. Now we're dealing with this pandemic, and a lot of African-American people are suffering from it more than any other group because, again, the government is not doing a better job. And the reason why we are bringing them up, because the Bible said, who much is given, much is required. The government is a big part and piece of our lives, and they are in charge in a lot of situations. They're in charge of our health. They're in charge of the economy. So, yes, they're going to be blamed in doing this situation, and they do need to do a better job. When I compare America to,
you don't blame somebody, I'll say blame the catalyst. You don't blame the people that are trying to fix the problem. You blame the people that brought the problem. So if you want to blame somebody and be upset with China.
Well, even not only that, you still have to understand that when you come to the show, when you come to America, America could have done a better job. That's to the president. When you get in these meetings, and this is why I knew that President.
Okay, so tell me how America could have done a better job to stop something that's airborne that they do not have a vaccine for.
In my humble opinion.
Oh, and also did not know about the situation for like 6 months to a year later because China had a cover up. So that now you tell me
the president knew, and it came out that it was a memo that this was going on, right? And every time the country, you gotta understand, we have agencies that
when he got the memo, it was already in play. People were already coming back and forth from China.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They knew about it, right? And even to like years ago, we had people that will study pandemics, and always they're still out here studying to this day. And that's why I say the president, is your job to say, we're going to shut down everything, and then we're going to create masks, gowns, whatever we can do, and within my power to do so. And the United States have that power. Unfortunately, just like they did in New Orleans, that was a natural disaster. They stayed on their behind. They did not do their job like they supposed to. And the problem got so bad, and now they're trying to play catch up. And
so what did you want them to do, Wiley?
This what they supposed to do. Masks and gowns, that is so simple. They ventilate, that was so simple to make, right? You're the United States of America. We can go around the world within minutes and do what we got to do. And that shouldn't be places that you work. You don't have enough PPE. You don't have enough masks. You don't have enough gloves. That shouldn't be in America when we are the most powerful nation in the world.
Okay, so let's be honest. Let's do a time frame. So within the last 3 months, these people, they have gotten the mask. But when you was asking for masks in March, no, we didn't have all the masks in March because we wasn't expecting this. And not only was we not expecting it, we expect that now the whole country. How many people are in America?
It's millions of people in America. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have enough,
within those, hold on. So millions of people, right?
Right. We have.
So how many months has this really been kicking? How long have we been on quarantine? Since March, the half of March?
No, right. But what I'm saying is, again,
so it's been about 6 weeks. That's pretty good.
But what I'm saying is, with the masks and gowns piece, it's a lot of places that still don't have enough PPE. and a lot of people are getting infected with it because it's if you don't have enough gowns and enough gloves and enough thing to protect yourself, you definitely could have on that is if you get
they do have it now. That's the thing is now they got too many masks.
And you didn't have enough gowns, if you didn't have enough gloves, that could have been avoided. But the government, again, it should be blamed because they are not doing what they supposed to do. And not just federal, state, local level, because a lot of governments they took a lot of money away from a lot of Department of Health. You can't. This is the reason why it is so important to invest in your Department of Health. They are your front line of defense. They do the research. They are part of it. That's their job. That's their responsibility. But when you withdraw funding for many of these Department of Health around the country, when a pandemic come up, they don't have the resources because they've been asking for years, hey, we need more money. Now you're just going to flood them with the money now and expect them to clean it up. And it's going to be a while before we clean it up. We were supposed to have a meet and greet May 15th, 16th, and 17th. We had to cancel it because some parts of the country is still closed. And even in Texas, I've heard that they're not even doing party buses. A lot of places I was called, they said that's canceled. The hotel called me today and said we're going to cancel the rooms because we're not allowing any guests in for a while. Movie theaters, they're still staying canceled because we're supposed to open up tomorrow.
Because you scared the shit out of them. They literally scared the shit out of these people. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so it's just really, really sad because people is really getting sick. It is real. I don't know what to really say.
It's called like checks and balances. People die. Like, oh my gosh. It's a check and balance. People are born, people die. That's what happens. And so that the world doesn't get overpopulated, it's something like this that happens.
Well, you know what?
It's natural.
If we have that,
but if God was to come and wipe it out with a boat and some water, y'all be like, oh, okay. It was word.
This is where I tell people we have to be educated and we have to be careful with the conspiracy because when HIV and AIDS first came on the scene, people didn't care. Oh, people are gonna die. Nah, nah, nah. But once people got the knowledge and understanding, you put the investments in place because that was taking a lot of people out in the 80s. And I've known a lot of people that talk about that era. They said, Wiley, it was a funeral every week. Every week we were burying folks. We couldn't keep up. Like, it was so sad. But now
that was an epidemic. That's an epidemic.
20,
this
30,
is not an epidemic.
Yeah, 10, 20, 30 years later, now it's not as it's still a problem, but it's not as dangerous like when it first hit in the 80s. Because now you have medicine, now you have PrEP, now you have type of treatments that can help you get through it.
And all of those are just about as toxic too, because they got so many lawsuits on that medication because people have been dying from that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's not as serious.
So what is so even if they do come out with a vaccine, who's to say that vaccine is good? Who's to say we won't be I Am Legend and we all running around here crazy? Well, because nobody don't know how long that vaccine hasn't been out a lifelong time. It hasn't been out a lifespan. Not even the AIDS medicine has been out a lifespan.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
I hear you with the vaccine piece, and that's why it is so important not to rush progress, right? Because even with Dr. Felchin, I believe that's his name, he said, yes, we get a 30% success rate with it. That's decent, but we got to take our time. It's going to be weeks, maybe months, probably years to get the appropriate vaccine. Let's go back to HIV and AIDS. When they finally came up with treatment, some of the treatment wasn't effective. Now you're getting treatment now where some people might get a test and they might show up undetectable. So it is trial and error. That's science. That's why you have to study. That's why you do human trials. That's why you test animals. That's our scientific approach. Now, what we should do as a country, just like President Obama said when he did the State of the Union address, we should do more investments in science. Teach our children about science. Teach our children so we can help fight these future pandemics or future issues, future problems. We need to be more educated. We need to put more investments in the science world. That should be. It shouldn't wait where we have a problem. Okay, now we're gonna give you a $50 million grant to come up with a vaccine. But if you would have done this years ago, put money.
Okay, so how do I make a vaccine for something that didn't mutate yet? It didn't mutate. This is nothing but SARS, but on another level. So how was they supposed to know that?
This is not the first time we dealt with a pandemic. HN1, we had dealt with, the flu back in.
But that's the thing. A pandemic is not something that you can be pro. You can't be before the pandemic. It's not possible.
Not true. If you have
so how do you get ahead of the disease?
You have people that is scientists, and that you have people that chase and speak about and study situations that before it happened, right? Just like, they go back, now everybody is saying about the flu pandemic, right? That happened when millions of people died from that. A lot of scientists, people that study it said, we're probably going to expect that again. We don't know when, but it's a possibility. So it's people that come in and study it. But this is the thing that I want the Black community to understand that is an issue. And I've seen this Black pastor said this. He said, come to my church. We don't really believe in all that. Look how packed my church is. Where he at now? He died. He got the virus and he passed away. We have to be careful when we do conspiracies, because if you go out like that, telling people what they don't need, knowing that it's an issue. Now, we can have a conversation about the approach, the government, but when you're having an issue and people going and you're telling people it ain't real, you're lying, because it is real, because people's actually passing away. Just like Diamond and Silk, they just lost their job from Fox News because they was out there spewing untrue things about it. They lost their job.
Do we know if it's untrue or not?
They lost their job because it is true, because people going away. I work in healthcare.
I mean, because if we gonna go into that, then
what I've noticed,
you fed anything. People be fed anything, believe anything.
It's serious and it's real, and people are going at a high rate. Look at New York. Many different nursing homes are dealing with this situation. They're going away. People can't see their family members. It is real. And if you don't believe it, then take your hand part out there and do what you want to do.
I have been.
But it is real. And I
living my life, because I'm not going to live my life in fear. If that's the case, then you need to be scared of you need to be scared of Ebola. You need to be scared of E. coli. You need to be scared of H1N1. You need to be scared of Ebola, West Nile. You need to be scared of. Baby, I can run down the pandemics. Be scared of all of them. Don't be sitting over here being scared of this. Be scared of all of them.
Let me before we open the phone lines, about 3 or 4 minutes we open it. But let me say this. It's not about, you got to be careful with fear. I'm talking for you to be prepared. Because I go back to the LGBT community, and you always hear about HIV, you hear about this, STIs and everything like that. If you look at the statistic, you will become fearful, but no, you have to you need to get knowledge, get an understanding, educate yourself, and know, hey, let's make preparations, right? Washing your hands, good hygiene, and make sure when you go outside, put on a mask. It's not about being fearful, it's about being prepared, because we're yet dealing with.
No, it's about fear, because fear makes money. This is exactly what's happening. They get everybody into their house. It is demolishing the whole economy so that it can be rebought and rebuilt. It's other things in play besides just this disease.
Right.
Let's be very clear.
Absolutely. And that's why you still have to be prepared, and you still have to make sure that you're doing everything to protect yourself. And I always tell people, don't get to the point that you're so fearful that you're afraid. Like, no, be prepared. Don't watch a lot of, consuming yourself with a lot of news reports and all of that, because that can become damaging to your mental capacity. Because if you listen to all that negative energy, that's why it's important. They're telling people to do yoga. They're telling people to meditate, to read. If you go outside, make sure you walk, make sure you wear a mask, and make sure you have some hand sanitizer, make sure you wash your hands. And that's really good. One thing that I've noticed during this pandemic is bringing out the best in people, and it's also bringing out the worst.
So what's going to happen by June or May? Or what's going to happen by June or July?
I don't know what's going to happen about June and May, but what I will tell you this.
I'm just saying, what's going to happen? Who's going to keep paying these bills?
Who you mean by that? You have to make sure you take your time and study, and don't.
Who's going to pay my bills?
Who's going
to pay my bills?
That's why I'm telling you, it's so important, Ken, to get involved in politics. Everything that you're saying, The answer is you have government agencies supposed to do their
If I
job.
can't get into politics, I'm a nihilist. I don't believe in it.
Well, whether you believe it or not, Ken, everything that you go through with your driver's license, that's politics. Taxes, politics. The clothes that you got on your body,
And baby, everything that's toxic,
you believe it or not,
politics. Your bad education, politics. Your bad food, politics. Your pharmaceutical, politics. Everything, politics. The same niggas that shoot you down in the street, politics.
You lose your job when you file for unemployment. That's part of the
I
government.
just love how black people believe in such a system that has been kicking their ass since the beginning of time. It's so funny.
And that's why, whether you believe in it or not, it exists, and you have to make sure that you are part of the solution by trying to change and get
What's the solution?
What the solutions
Baby,
like?
there's no solution for you. That's why I'm a nihilist, because no matter what you do or however you vote or whatever you do, it's never going to be in your favor, ever.
That's not true.
It's never going to be in your favor.
That's not true.
How? When it has to be in your favor?
Hold on, let me tell you why. Because we as black speaking this freely and not being in change, some people had a different thought process than you. Because back in the day, when you had an abolitionist and people said, "Oh, slavery should be against the law," they had people like you. "Oh no, it ain't gonna never change." But no, people woke up and said, "No, this is not. It's unnatural."
People are still slaves. What are you talking about? It's still slavery going on. This is a new age slavery.
Not being able to use the water fountain they choose to use. So a lot of our ancestors,
it's just a new age slavery. It's no different, and it's no different than somebody that was free walking around in a whole bunch of slaves. Okay, there's rich people and there's people that are free. There's people that are slaves. It's all a part of it. It's still a part of it, and those people went from not just slaving black people, but let's just slave all the poor people. Let's make them all do 9 to 5, baby. It's bigger than that.
All right, so at the same time, that's where the phone lines open. So let's open up the phone line 646-716-8.
I like your shirt.
Thank you. 646-716-8447. And I will tell you this: black people around the world, make sure y'all get involved in politically. Make sure y'all get along politically, and make sure y'all hit the link if y'all want to hit the link or call.
Maybe let's just go back to Africa. Just go back to Africa.
Yeah, go back to Africa. There's a lot of good, safe places in Africa too. A beautiful place, and investments are really
beautiful.
Good. Yeah, it's very beautiful. It's some very wealthy parts in Africa.
But why would I understand why we don't want to go back to Africa, because we built this fucking country.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the phone lines. You live on the air. Go ahead, sister. What you got to say?
To your co-host, I want to go back onto the coronavirus. The government knew about the coronavirus October 2019.
Correct.
They tried to cover it up, okay? There was 14 scientists that tried to leak it out to tell the people that this pandemic was going to come out. And they allowed these people to die, and they locked them up. And this pandemic had got out, and it took.
But that wasn't America. That was China.
Our government allowed us to continue to travel internationally in and out of different states and countries, knowing that China had this pandemic going on.
So why aren't y'all mad with China for allowing people to go in and out? Period. Why isn't the world holding them responsibility?
Let her finish her statement. Go ahead with your last point, and then we're gonna bring
all because of money. It's all about economics.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. It's about money.
But the thing is, now our president is saying now that he wants to punish China for causing this coronavirus. And this is why I'm trying to tell you something. You should really listen to it, because he is giving you a lot of good pointers. Is you saying that a lot of people hate Trump, but do you realize Trump put a lot of stock into the vaccination for this coronavirus vaccination?
I've been saying that, baby. That's the whole purpose of the economy being tore down, so that people can go back and rebuild it. It's no different from when people do gentrification. When they go into a part of a city and they tear it down, or let black people, quote unquote, bring down the product, and then they go and buy it, and then they build it up. It's nothing different. I've been buying Delta stock for $1 and Amazon stock for $1 for about 2 months now.
Have you lost someone with the coronavirus?
No, I don't know nobody with it.
Okay, so you don't.
I live in Georgia, so it's only like 2,000 people here. I think 2,000 cases of it. It's really not that deep. It's not like New York or anything.
And then you mentioned something about E. coli. E. coli is something that you poop. I wanted you to know that too.
I mean, a disease, it's still like a disease. It's like tuberculosis then, okay? We can go with tuberculosis. There's really no cure for that either.
Hey, hold on 1 second. One last question in, because I got to move on with the phone lines. Go ahead. This your last one.
I'm sorry. It's just that you really should open your mind and not be so blinded by it, because you could be a carrier, and by you being so I'm not going to say ignorant of it, but you're not welcoming to what he's saying.
All right.
And he's just, that's all I got to say.
Okay. So that was our point. So we're going to move on to the next caller, because we got about 3 callers waiting. All right. 0390 caller, you're on the air. All right. Let me see. 0390, you live on the air.
Yes, I wanted to say I agree with Ken on some point, and I
Thank you.
understand, because all this is man-made. That's what we have to understand, first of all. And yes, the virus is real. It's real. But then at the same time,
I agree, it's real.
Hey, just to say that people is dying with this virus. You get what I'm saying? So it's real, and we have to protect ourselves, but at the same time, it's man-made, and it's much bigger than we can ever imagine. It's true.
All right. Thank you so
that's
very
all
much.
I have to say.
All right. 4429.
Okay. Hey, Wiley. Hey, Ken. Okay.
Hey.
First of all, like Wiley said, there's whole I don't want to say industries, but there's whole industries or careers around science. You got the epidemiologists. They study the statistics. You had a research scientist. You have the doctors that work in the hospital. You got the doctors that do research. You got PhDs. You got MDs. So you have. So this thing is, when they studying this stuff, it's just not coming out the sky that they know something could happen, because they studying it for years before you was even born, and they keep building.
I know, because it's on my Lysol bottle. It says it now. It says SARS. This is just a mutation.
Okay. So number one, this, if you know anything about statistics, the rate of this virus spreading is very high. So that's why it's more contagious than something else you could catch. This one, the rate of contagion is so high. I don't know the math behind it, but you got a whole statistical model about that.
And see, that's the thing about it, because they don't tell you how many people recover from it. They don't tell you how many people that survive, when that number is 2 to 3 times more than the people that have it.
I got a good link I've been following. You could follow John Hopkins. They all about research and studying. But I follow a different.
Oh no, I get mine where it comes through with the numbers, because I like numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't like to just hear high. I don't like to just hear, all
of that.
Because even with John Hopkins, they came out with a number. They come out with numbers. It's a lot of people are recovering from this, right? But it's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that.
Thank you. Just be honest about it across the board.
This is why, Ken. This is why it is so important to get into media. This is why it is so important to get your stories out in those narratives. We don't have enough of us that say we quote unquote woke, or
because they believe everything. They believe everything that's fed to them.
Right, but again, this is why it is so important to have channels and have a network where you can give out a narrative. A lot of people are recovering from this, yes, and it's a lot of people that are not recovering from this. Whole families have been wiped out from this virus. But go ahead with Blue Skies. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I didn't know she's still on. Go ahead, sweetie. I'm sorry.
A lot of people that believe anything. Okay, one thing you can believe with your own eyes. Go ask 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 different people that you know and ask them, did they ask Wiley, do he know somebody that had corona? Because we all know somebody on YouTube that had corona.
Absolutely.
There's another where his mother had corona. My father had corona. A good girlfriend of mine had corona. We think
And how many of those people died?
January.
How many of those people died?
How many of the people I know have died?
Out of those people that you just called out that you knew that had it, how many of those people died?
Thankfully, I don't know nobody that died.
Right.
Point case. Thank you.
But this
point case. Thank you.
There are, but I know. But this is the thing. We say we believe whatever we hear.
Right.
This is nothing I'm hearing. This is something I know.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So whether it's man-made, whether it's the virus hatched from a chicken, the virus is here and it's infecting people at a high rate.
Right.
One thing about it, and two things for sure, I've never said that it wasn't real or it wasn't here. But how we are approaching it and what we are doing with it and how and who we are blaming, that is my issue. That's my issue. Because at the end of the day, we haven't even hit 1 million people, but there's over millions of people that are at home.
All right.
Taxes.
Go ahead,
I pay taxes for the president to do a job. I blame the government. They had a pandemic organization that Obama had formed. They were studying different things. They were telling you what you need to do if a pandemic hit. They knew about the pandemic way back before now. The president do not read his security threats. That somebody said it was in there in February. I believe it. It's a guy on Free Agenda TV. He's been reporting about the coronavirus ever since it broke out in Wuhan. So if he just a social media person on YouTube
and can I say this?
Reporting about it, you better believe the government knows.
And let me also say this.
A black person,
because you brought up a YouTuber. I remember when Lovely T reported on it, right? And this was before any black YouTuber reported on it.
I like Lovely T. She's good.
And when she reported on it, a lot of things she said, they called her crazy. They called her a conspiracy theorist. And then when CNN, MSNBC started to say those things, then I let you know that it was an issue and it was a problem, right? So what we're saying is this: everybody that gets it is not going to pass away. That is a fact. But what we want to understand and what the media, I feel like, failed us, and this is why it is so important to have African Americans as executive producers. This is why power is so important, is because stop getting on there and telling all these cases, and you're not going to give us a balanced reporting by telling the people that actually recover. But this is the media, right? This is about ratings. Fear drives ratings. That's big.
I know. And you're perpetuating that fear when you come on and you telling these people the same thing without telling them what I'm saying.
Tell you is to have a mask, to wash your hands, hand sanitizer, things that we should have been practicing.
That's what I was gonna say. Don't you supposed to be doing that anyway?
But people don't. You got a lot of nasty people that don't believe in washing their hands, that don't believe in having hand sanitizer, that don't believe.
Well, when I don't wash and take care of myself, that's my risk.
Absolutely. You have folks that don't believe in covering their mouth when they cough. They'll sneeze right on you. Some people are just that nasty.
To me, it's just like having sex without a condom. If you want to go out there and have sex without a condom, then it's on you.
And that's why it is so important. And I think a lot of stores are health conscious now. They're doing hand sanitizer, things that they should have been doing from day one. They're now doing. So I think after this situation, I hope and pray that we continue to practice these good health things. All right, your last point, Blue. Then I'm gonna bring another person on screen.
Okay.
I like her though.
What I want to say is the government is at fault because you pay your taxes for them to do a certain job, and they didn't do the job to protect you from a public health crisis. Okay, and they knew about it. They just didn't act on it. They didn't think it
Once again, China hid that from us before we knew about it.
Your president don't believe in science. He don't believe in none of that. So that's why we are where we at right now. Okay.
Well, let's just put all the blame on Trump. He did it.
All right. Thank you so much.
He would have made it in his lab, baby.
Very much. All right, we got somebody on here. Go ahead, sister. What you had to say?
Hey.
I was just disappointed to hear the young man saying some things that actually weren't true. He said, for one, that E. coli, there was no treatment for it. E. coli is a bacteria.
I didn't say it was no treatment. I was just naming some of the pandemics that we have survived and went through.
Yeah, but it's treatable. There's a treatment for it, and you can be cured, but you cannot from corona at this time.
Well, then how are people getting well if they can't be treated?
It's a virus. They're managing the symptoms and the things that can lead to their death. But yeah, viruses.
Oh, okay. So, but they are treating something because the people are getting better, right?
Yeah, they're treating the symptoms that are killing them. You know,
okay.
Difficulty breathing. They open up the airways. The antivirals that they're giving them. They are giving them antivirals. So there is a treatment for it. But E. coli, but it's not a bacteria. E. coli is a bacteria, and also you mentioned tuberculosis. That is also a bacteria, and you can treat that as well. There are treatments for those things.
Yeah, but it takes 12 months, and you have to take multiple pills.
But people who have compromised immune systems, like lupus and HIV, and the elderly and the small children, they are being taken out because their immune system is compromised.
And that's not necessarily true either, because I've been seeing a lot of 95-year-olds come out of the hospital too. And 100, matter of fact, it was a woman in Georgia that was 105 that got out on her birthday out of the hospital.
Yeah,
like it's all over the place. System. Like it's people are giving you what they want you to hear. That's it.
We don't know anything about her medical history, and we don't know what her immune system status was.
I know she's 105.
So you can't pick one person and say, this is the proof that, this is all made up.
But y'all doing it the opposite way. I was like, oh, these kids and stuff like that, and blah, 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 blah.
Those are the people that are being taken out in large numbers. So you can't just select one out of the group and say, that's not true based on one person. So that was the only thing I just felt like some
I don't know. I just feel like more people are being recovered than they are being sick.
Yeah, because they're
and that shows in the numbers. It's actually in the statistics. I know that's real.
Yeah. But that's because they have addressed their immune system and because they're treating the symptoms. So
it's not really a pandemic.
But the case numbers are so high that it's taxing the facilities, especially with the doctor's office closed. That's one of the biggest issues with the pandemic. They weren't prepared for anything
That's what I was telling him. That's what I was saying. I said they're not prepared. They weren't prepared.
Yeah, which they should have been. They had the information in plenty of time.
Something that just came out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was man-made or whether it was two animals that weren't supposed to be together that were defecating on each other on the market in China that caused it to be transmittable to humans. Whatever story that you want to go with, it still happened over there. And people are trying to blame our government because they didn't know what to do. They're human too.
But they knew about it. There's evidence that they knew about it since last year, 2019.
So okay, let's put yourself in his shoes. What you would have done? What would you have done? And how fast would you have moved?
But see, that's why he has the CDC and he said he has the World Health Organizations to advise him. He should immediately started getting the right kind of mask. He should have gotten into manufacturer companies that produce those masks, the companies that produce the IV fluids they need, the pharmaceutical companies.
I agree with that part. I agree with that part.
Pharmaceutical companies.
I told them I think it's funny that
pump up the cure.
Make trillions of dollars and then really. Yeah, I thought it was funny that you could go make trillions of dollars, but you can't make masks.
Yeah, he can. He just didn't, and so to a large extent, it is his fault. And
that falls under the president. And see, whether it's good or bad, that comes with the job. You are in authority, so the people gonna blame who they voted for. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And so even President Trump, when President Obama didn't do things he didn't like, He blamed him. Oh, look at Obama, he did this. So that you're going to keep that same energy that you're going to have to deal with this. Now, another problem I think President Trump, I think he needs to back up on, that when you're not equipped or an expert in health, take a back seat and let your health expert lead it. Because you're saying things, spewing things. We all know that he loved to lie. He loved to say stuff that be funny. But in this instance, this ain't no time for no joking or lying because people dying and all that stuff. So you need to sit down somewhere because you sound very ignorant. Anytime you have the medical experts have to correct them.
Why? I mean, y'all already blame them anyway, so why sit down?
And they have to do it intelligently because they don't want to embarrass this man and say, bruh, you sitting here, you don't know what you're talking about. They literally, like, what this man did this say? And this is why I tell African-American people, right? This is the time that you pay attention and get your black behind up and go vote. And this is why I tell Joe Biden, you want to run for president.
Here we go.
You want to be president of the United States of America. It is your job to speak up and do a better job. This ain't no time for you to stutter. Your messaging is all lost. And you do need to get a VP because he does a terrible job with Joe Biden with messaging. You don't know really where he stands. He just flip-flops. You got to have a stand. We already know what Trump stands. By any means necessary, I want to remain in power. I don't care what I say. As long as I'm still in the Oval Office, I want to stay in power. That's his messages. He has the same energy. With Joe Biden, you really don't know what this man is standing on. To this day, I don't know where he's trying to stand on. And that's why the DNC saying, brother, you need some help. You need to get your VP choice. Yeah. And what they're saying is get somebody that's intelligent enough to give out their messaging. And that's why I think if he get a black woman like a sister that's on the panel, they can do a better job expressing their thing because he have a weak spot. He stutters. He gets nervous. Sometimes he go off when he shouldn't. And he needs somebody to give a message to say, this is my platform. This is where I stand. And this is why I need your support. And if you get a white person to be your VP choice, black people is going to stay at home. But if you get a black women going to lead the charge and say, this is our for us to become.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And this is the thing. Also, I took issue with the gentleman saying that the system is broken and why y'all still believe in it. Number one, it's the best there is. Because if you think going back to Africa is the solution, you are mistaken. Those governments in that continent are very unstable. At any given time, they can be taken over by warlords. They go through coups. Their governments are unstable. And at any given time, they can become unstable. So if you think that they're over there, they got a better system of government, you are sadly mistaken. They even have dictators over there. So, if you think that there's a better system than what we have here, you are mistaken. And the thing about it is that when we stay home and say we're not going to vote,
okay, so we get shot down by the police that you pay for. Yeah, we getting thrown in jail, so that's better.
But this is the thing. No, that's two different issues. That's apples and oranges.
But you're not black man, so you wouldn't understand
of legislation. That's what we're talking about. And this is the thing. No, you gotta let me finish now because you've been on here a long time. This is the thing. You have to vote. You have to, because this is the thing. When white people decide to do us dirty, when they decide to take our rights, when they decide to take our property, when they decide to do all these things to us, they do it through voting. They go to the county council behind your back. They have a meeting, and you didn't show up. You didn't know that they was passing that legislation. You didn't know that agenda was even on the list to be talked about that night. When you're not involved, they can do whatever they want. But please believe they went through the process. When they decided to screw you,
they're gonna do whatever they want anyway.
They went through the process.
And that's why
we can't stop it.
They've been doing whatever they want.
Hold on 1 second.
We weren't showing up. Because they wouldn't have kept Barack Obama out, but too many of us showed up. They couldn't.
Baby, we ain't gonna even go to Barack Obama because he was one of the worst presidents we've ever had. So I don't even want to go there.
They couldn't keep him out because we showed up.
This is why,
because he destroyed the small businesses with black owners, like literally.
That's another topic. We're talking about the process. Go ahead, Wiley. I'm sorry.
This is why the process very matters, and this is why I tell African Americans: you can sit here and you can complain all day and sit on the corner and say this, and them white folks, they get together, they get the paperwork and say, I don't want this in my community. They get these petitions, they put it on the ballot. Then they tell y'all know y'all vote don't matter, lying to, and then you get some of these quote unquote woke folks that ain't that woke telling you don't vote. These white folks go vote, only a couple of thousand of them, and they change it up for everybody. Then when you have to go pay a bill, or when the police is pulling you over for a certain ticket and they make the prices, if you would have voted in November, you could have had a voice for a certain judge to sit on the bench. But you didn't.
That's the funniest thing in the world, because that last, when Trump was going in for that last vote, they voted. Black people showed up, and what happened? This
is why you have to go vote, and this is why people that if you're not educated, you need to be educated. And I'm gonna tell you again, whether you live or not, politics, you are affected, because one thing about this country, you get a birth certificate, and when you die, you get a death certificate. Both of them entities is politics. Where your state gonna go?
How many black people went and voted at the last election?
That you're gonna pay for. And see, if black people don't have these type of conversations, it is what it is. You have to understand that politics is real. If you in the church, politicians said churches don't have to pay taxes, you tax exempt. It was some politicians got together and say, hey, I don't think churches should pay taxes. If you say you don't believe in politics, then you shouldn't be tax exempt, because that's part of politics.
I don't.
Every country you go to have some.
I'm not saying I don't believe in politics. What I'm saying is I don't believe in a system that has been oppressing us. I mean, like, what? How do you believe in a system that's going to help you that's been oppressing you?
Because the thing is that we don't show up. We don't go to the local vote, the local elections. When we don't go to our county council, we don't go to vote for the sheriff, the county sheriff. We don't go and vote for those little offices. But those little offices is where it starts. Because this is the thing: if you show up to vote in droves,
even if we do show up, right?
But you didn't know that there was
we still a minority. How are we going to outdo?
No, you have to let me finish now. If you go up to vote for state election, but you didn't know that 2 months ago your county council passed a legislation that said you have to vote within 10 miles of your home. You didn't know they passed that. So yeah, when you show up, you might be 20 miles away because you at work and you got off for lunch to go vote, couldn't vote because you was over 20 miles away from home. The thing is that if you're not involved in local elections, then you won't know that they're doing them dirty deeds. You have to know what's going on at the county council. You have to know who was elected sheriff, what was his background and his record. If you elect a KKK Grand Dragon to be your county sheriff, yep, black men gonna get shot down in the street. You know, so that's the thing. If you want to see local change in your every day-to-day life, you have to vote for your local elections.
I live in Atlanta. Black people see people down in the street.
I'm gonna go to the phone lines. Don't hang up. We're gonna let you speak, because this show, we don't rush off the show. We got 2 anonymous on here. Anonymous 1, go ahead, anonymous. Anonymous, hello. You live on the air.
Oh, there you go. Hey, y'all back. Okay.
Anonymous.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last part. What you say? Say that last part for me one more time.
Anonymous, you live on the air. We taking calls now. Anonymous.
Yes, I'm here. I just wanted to touch on the topic with someone mentioned in the chat about Bill Gates. I want to know why everyone on that stage that's behind President Trump is associated with Bill Gates, either prior or currently. He's funded everyone on that stage. Once again, prior.
I told him it's bigger than what it is.
He funds the FDA. He funds the CDC. He funds everyone that's on that stage. Don't you guys think something up?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
What I will say this to answer that point. Yeah, he done a lot of funding, right? But that's
follow the money.
But you still have to understand what they're saying is that still shouldn't have to say, hey, I'm not gonna wear a mask because Bill Gates, he funds all these people. No, you still have to take precautions by washing your hands, wearing a mask, and taking care of yourself. And if you're sick and you have symptoms, talk to your doctor. And if they say self-quarantine for 10 days until your symptoms clear up, pay attention to that. Because if you don't, you are putting other people at risk, and that exists. I just don't want us to get so involved with conspiracy theories.
But what I'm trying to say is, if Bill Gates is funding the CDC and the FDA, those are supposed to be the people that protect us. In the beginning, they were telling us don't wear a mask. So if they do that, what are they lying to the president?
No, what they said was they didn't say don't wear a mask. This is when they
In
first
the beginning, they said don't wear a mask.
No,
in the beginning they did. They changed the narrative a couple times.
Don't go get those N95 masks because those N95 masks is for healthcare workers, right? And so, of course, the CDC, because you got to understand,
KN95, baby, KN95,
and you get this stuff. And then another point they made up, they had to change because then the CDC realized, hey, they don't have enough equipment. So now they had to tell healthcare providers. I know we've been telling y'all since the beginning, since you've been in nursing school and CNA school, that you change the equipment. You don't use the same mask for everybody. You don't use the same glove for everybody. But they had to switch that policy because a lot of companies, a lot of places did not have enough masks. So now they said, keep the same mask, put it in the Ziploc bag. And the only reason why they changed that up is because they didn't have enough to deal with. Their whole reason was, I'd rather you put on something around your mask or your face than nothing, right? But that all comes with because the governments did not prepare for this, and they're not doing a better job in creating masks and everything like that. If we went to war back in World War I and II,
understand how y'all be expecting people to be prepared for this.
Country provide and produce weapons. In this thing, we are at war this is a health war, right? This is a health crisis. And we should bring a war approach to say, let's prepare. Companies come together and put masks. And the president has that authority to put that into place. He is the president. He comes with powers and a lot of things he could have done. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he did not
do that. And they just wasn't on your time span. Did they not do that?
But this is the thing. The president has the power at any given time to declare a state of national emergency.
3 months and
when he declares it a state of national emergency, he has the authority to divert funds to the proper resources to get us prepared. So he had the authority to get money to those manufacturing companies that make masks, that make IV fluids, that make those pharmaceutical companies. He had the authority.
He did that. And he made y'all stay at home. Like whatever.
State of emergency.
He did that and made y'all stay at home and tried to give you a check.
He made it. What was it? He made it I forgot what they call it. Where it's he'll say it's a crisis, but it's not like a state of emergency.
It hasn't even been 2 full months since y'all been home, and this epidemic has been called an epidemic. It's been literally
now open up the phone line.
And for him to get on all these masks to millions of people within, and then coming up with a plan to try to calm down. So we don't have these waves of infection because they got you at home isolated.
Okay, let me bring the calls in. We want everybody to speak so everybody get their point across. Icon, what do you have to say? You want to finish? You had another point you want to make?
Yeah, I just have one other thing. I believe that President Trump knows more than what he can tell us.
They all do.
He knows more than I believe a lot of those doctors will be going to jail. Once again, it could be allegedly, but I certainly believe is a lot.
I would say they're going to jail.
All right. Thank you so much, Icon from New York. All right. So
thank you.
If any callers hang up, you got to call back in if you hang up. But let's go to the phone lines. 2385. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Go ahead, sister. You go ahead. Yes, I can.
Can you hear me, Wiley?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback off of the female caller who was talking about the importance of voting. Right now, the census is going on. So if you have the ability to access the internet, they mail them to fill out the census because that is super important in the way that resources are distributed. One thing I wanted to highlight in regards to the census is every 10 years after the census, they do redistricting where they draw the district lines. So I know Ken mentioned that, we're such a small population, like how do we have impact on a local and federal level? Well, districting is one of the ways. The politicians in a lot of these states, they're able to draw their own district lines, and then they basically choose who's voting for them. So get people in power on a local level who are drawing their own lines. They're increasing the representation of the minorities, of the Black individuals in their own neighborhoods to make sure that they get the resources that they need.
Right.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's definitely right about that because I seen a lot of it here in Atlanta. A lot of people like Brookhaven. Brookhaven was like just a city, but now it's an actual city where they have like law enforcement, all that reading the same thing. They are making these little spots, cities, and they, giving them, legislation.
So I'm gonna make sure every call is in. We got about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna bring this to a close. We got another caller in here, 2637. Caller, you on the air.
Hey, Wiley, how are you?
All right, go ahead.
And the rest of the panel. I just wanted to add to the thing when you were saying about as far as blame call. I know you probably understand there's 3 legislatures to branch, and they all have to, or at least the majority have to be agreed to anything. So Trump doesn't actually have as much power as we.
Thank you.
That's number 1.
Legislative, judicial. Thank you.
The U.S. has absolutely no control over China. They are shook of China. They are scared of China. On so many occasions. If anybody said a false
thank you.
The U.S. The U.S. would bomb them right out this world of makeup and y'all will go along with it. So China, I don't know you follow Larry. He put up some numbers a couple weeks back. China supposedly has the lowest amount of deaths from the COVID, and that's obviously a lot. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, China has a lot of eggs, not just in the U.S., but all over in the West Indies and Africa. They're basically like the new white person. They're taking over everything, so they control a lot of the medicine, which is why a lot of the companies that do what was going on.
China owned it. China owned it. Tell them, girl. Tell them.
Let me get a point.
So when you say, when what China's trying to do right now is shift the blame. They sent a infected blanket, I believe, to the UK, trying to give that country COVID blankets. But
you can't blame the country that's trying to save you from what somebody else done did.
Only African people in China talking about they testing for COVID, but I believe they're giving it to them in effort to save the African.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Because remember when COVID came out, there was no black people getting it.
So when Trump took that approach, that this is a China disease, y'all should have stuck by him because he's telling the truth. They were trying to give the impression that the USA was at fault, and then they was even treating U.S. and they still are treating some USA people bad, but especially people from Africa. But China is very, very nasty, very, very dirty. Y'all basically seeing the 1490s all over again with steroids. So that's all I
Thank you so very much. Let me go to the last caller. Then we're gonna bring the show and do my closing thoughts. 8339 caller on the air.
Hey, I just wanted to comment and say, first of all, I agree with a lot of the things that Ken, you were saying. I believe that we all at this point know that COVID is bigger than what it seems to be on the surface. We all know that. But with knowing that doesn't mean that you negate taking precautions and stop the continuation of the spread, because people are dying. And it's up to us. We all have to live in the same space. And in order to make this a safe living environment as much as we can, everybody has to take precaution. And I really feel like, and I know, this is going to sound silly, but for those who look at it like, I ain't wearing no mask, I'm going out and doing this anyway, I think that their names need to be on a list. So when they do get sick, they don't get any hospitalization.
Put me down.
Home, because you didn't believe that meat was greasy anyway. So when you get sick, you could have took precaution, but you chose not to take precaution. Instead, you decided, well, if I'm a silent carrier, I just might be a silent carrier. I don't care. It ain't hurting me, or whatever the case. But when you decide to make those decisions like that and you live in a society with other people, you affect people in the society. And we all got to share this space. So I hope you're really listening and you are taking in the fact that we all know this is bigger and deeper than what it seems to be on the surface. We got that. But while knowing that, we still have to take precaution and protect ourselves and protect our loved ones and other people around us.
Okay, thank you so much,
I'm
ma'am.
gonna get my list going.
We got one more caller here. Go ahead, 3667. Calling on air.
Yes, I'm also from Georgia myself, from McDonough, Georgia.
Hey.
From McDonough, Georgia, and my son has the same attitude that Ken has. Even though it might be a conspiracy or whatever, you still have to take precautions.
Sure.
It's not just because it's a conspiracy thing. My thing is,
One second.
it's not telling them about the whole truth.
One second, Ken, let her finish and bring it in because I got to do the close result. Go ahead, man.
Yes, because I'm just the one and I have asthma. And so if my son knows he has to wear a mask, it's not for him, for me.
Okay. Amen to that. Because if you
So
go
that's
out,
what I want to say. Just don't be too ignorant. It might be something bigger, but we know for a fact that it is killing people. So why would you open yourself to that?
There's a lot of things that kill people.
And the thing is that they're not asking too much of you. Wash your hands, put on sanitizer, wear a mask. Is that too much? They're not asking too much.
I'm just saying that should have been something that people have been doing anyway.
No.
And then not only that, but my thing is, once again, I'm not telling you people not to wear masks. I'm not telling you guys that it's not something to be aware of. But at the same time, also get the whole facts. Make sure you're getting.
go ahead, finish your point, Ken, and I'm gonna let the lady on the line speak.
Make sure you're getting all the facts, because the ratio is if you look at the ratio of numbers, because I like numbers. So when you're looking at the ratio of numbers of people that are affected or who have died from it, and the people that have survived and that have recovered, it's a mess. Look at all the numbers. Don't just look at one. Look at all of them.
It's not about numbers. We know people are dying. It's not about.
It must be about the numbers if y'all are worried about that. That's what y'all worried about,
We've seen
right?
the bodies. We've seen the bodies. I mean, so I don't understand, what your real issue is.
I am none.
No, it's about people that already have existing health issues, and I am one of those people with underlying health issues.
Yeah.
And I go to do dialysis every 3 days. You're not the only one.
Yeah, and this is my thing is that, I'm always healthy as a horse, always have been. I don't really have any fear that I'm going to get coronavirus. But,
I don't either.
But my thing is that I still take those precautions. And the thing is that I wasn't caught like people because, like you said, I think it just kind of shows that some of us might have been a little bit nasty. But because I've always had the hand sanitizer, I always had the Lysol. So when they started panicking, we don't have any. I had several bottles already just because I'm a clean person. I have bleach already, and so because I'm a clean person. And so I think a lot of us just got caught out there realizing we weren't as careful, maybe, and as neat as we should be, or as sanitary as we need to be.
Right.
But that's okay because we can start the day. We can change and start the day.
Right.
So, even though I don't think I'm going to get it, I still do those things. But I was always doing them, so it's kind of biased.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, on the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Go ahead, ma'am, for your closing remarks, and then I'm going to go to you, Ken.
All right, let's get it. I like her though. Yes, I like the banter.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. I like talking too because I'm good for healthy debate. But I want to say because this one guy he called in and he said, "Well, I think," and so if we're gonna say I think, I do think the coronavirus is man-made. I do think it's man-made. Right. It's way too sophisticated. Because usually your body, your immune system, it reacts within a couple of days' time. Even with HIV, within a couple of days' time, your body, your immune system is reacting. But this thing can go for 14 days. My immune system doesn't recognize it. And I'm contagious the whole time. There's no way that's not man-made. There's no way. It's too sophisticated. I do believe it's man-made. I believe they probably already got the cure for it. They already got it. They're going to whip it out in a couple of years. I do actually believe in population control. And it started in China, the most densely populated country on the planet. They're only allowed to have, 1 or 2 kids?
Now you speaking my language. I do think
it was deliberate. I think it was man-made. And it was released in China on purpose. And then a couple other people let it happen. And I think that in a year or so, they're going to say, hey, we got the cure, and they're going to come out and provide people.
Today they just say they have 14 different versions of it. They're working on it. It's 14. I think it was 14 different ones. One of them was at like 30% or something. I'll be watching.
but we can still do but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a virus, and we can still be careful, and we can still come through it. But I do feel for those who are immunocompromised, and I would do it even if I don't feel it, because I don't feel like I'm gonna get it. I'm never sick, but I will still do it for them, even if I don't believe in it. I will still do it for the people who are, compromised.
All right,
That's it. Thanks for having me, Wiley.
All right, thank you.
It was nice meeting you.
You too. So we just did a 2 men and a lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor.
Right.
Thank you, both of y'all. Y'all have a good
No
one.
problem.
All right, thank you so much, Ken.
All right.
Love you. All
Love
right.
you too.
All right. So I really want to, I heard both sides of the argument dealing with this case. And I want to tell you that government is very important. We need to get more involved in our local, state, and federal level. Really, we need to be more engaged and more educated into that, right? Because in this situation, I personally believe that we as Americans need to be more health conscious, right? And I also do believe healthcare should be a right. And I remember when Bernie Sanders said healthcare needs to be a right, and they said, "Oh my God, they're socialists. Oh, we should have an income." I remember Yang, he was saying that this country should get an income like $1,000 a month. Oh my God, that's great. Oh, that don't sound good. America would never do that. Then we were yet dealing with a pandemic, and now the government said, okay, we're going to give y'all $1,200 stimulus check, right? Where's the socialist stuff at now? Then we are definitely dealing with, well, we don't want to give companies a welfare, but now you're giving companies loans, low interest rate loans, so they can keep their employees on there, right? So you don't hear that about quote unquote welfare. So what I'm telling you is that our government can change when they want to change. And in this instance, it took a pandemic for folks to give people a stimulus check. People need a stimulus check before this situation. People were suffering financially before this pandemic, but now they were able to get those checks right through. Republicans passed it. The Republicans all about small government, the budget, not spending all unnecessary funds, and they are in control of the Senate, and they're passing it like Democrats is passing it, right? So I think that we, as African-American people, need to be more politically engaged. Politics is real, and we need to make sure we do it. If that's the case, Dr. King would not have been able to get the voters' rights, and Dr. King would not have been able to speak to politicians if it wasn't real. What if Dr. King would have said, politics, that ain't real, that's a conspiracy, da-da-da-da-da-da. What if, Jesse Jackson would have said, that ain't real, I'm not going to run in the 80s. What if President Obama said, I want to run? It exists. Politics do exist. And I will never forget when President Obama said, he was speaking to his last speech to the nation, his last rally speech. He said, listen, if you are seeing something that needs to be changed, get a clipboard and run for office. You should run for office, especially all these quote unquote woke folks. Definitely should not just be able to get on YouTube. Run for office. Use some of that influence, because that's where the real power. I don't care how you tweet. I don't care how many videos you make. The real power is those in those chambers, them state houses, and those city council rooms and Capitol Hill. The power exists there, right? And that's why you have to go there and make sure you visit there and do it. And so I even got more engaged by calling my congressman, calling my senator, calling this. I remember as a teenager when my grandmother, her block, they needed some speed humps, right? And I just kept staying on the ottoman, and eventually we got speed humps. Then I stayed on the ottoman again because they removed the speed humps. I kept calling, and then they made sure the speed humps got back on the block. But that's because I started from an early age, and I knew that as a taxpayer, you have power. And as a taxpayer, you need to know how to utilize your power by visiting the city council, by visiting your alderman office, by visiting whoever is in charge, your Cook County, whoever it is. You got to learn how to get involved when they have those meetings, when decisions are being made. They always say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. That is real. And I think us as African-American people need to stop listening to folks that are telling you don't go out and vote. Don't listen to those type of people, because what they're telling you a bald-faced lie that your vote don't matter. And when some black people say that, I don't really like to listen to some of these black folks when they talk like that. Oh, don't vote. Oh, don't this. No, bro, you have to vote. And the reason why we're dealing with a situation with police officers taking out so many young black and women is because laws need to change. They are literally have a license and think by the law, they're so protected by the laws because the laws are outdated. It's still not laws on the books to really bring officers to justice. It needs to be some laws on the book that every single police officer need to have insurance. That if you have so many if you can't insure yourself, then you shouldn't be a police officer, right? And that if you go out and you want to be reckless as a police officer, you shouldn't get a pension. Your pension should be completely gone, and it should go to that family. That check that you're supposed to get for the rest of your life should go to that family that family that you took out, that family member that was taken out, that entire family need to be reaping those benefits. So it's a lot of things that do have to be changed. We're yet dealing with a lot of things, but we have to get at those rooms. We need to get at those tables, right? And if we're not at those tables, again, we're going to continue to have the same cycle of problems. But once we start getting into those rooms, once the Kens, once the Wileys, once the this, once the that, start getting into office, change will happen. We need more change. I personally believe we have too many old people in power. It's time for some new blood to be in power. I do believe that if you stay in office for decades, sometimes you get stuck in your ways. It's hard for you to move towards change. So maybe you would need a Wiley to sit in those rooms to say, hey, maybe we need to go this way. And that's why it is so important to get into politics, right? And I do believe that if we get more engaged and start running for offices, start voting at a higher rate, change would happen. And this is what I love about Stacey Abrams, and this is why I'm advocating that Stacey Abrams be picked as the VP choice from Joe Biden, not just because she's a black woman, but because when she, you got to look at her when she was running in Georgia, she registered so many people in her state. She was so great working in the state house. And also too, when the governor Kemp, before he was governor, he was Secretary of State, when they booted so many thousand people off the voter rolls before the election day, she did not give up. She continued to work hard. She continued to talk about voter suppression. She continued to work and to invest and to make sure people are registered and educating them about the census. So that is the type of person that Joe Biden needs on his team. You need that. It is time that we have African-American women on the Supreme Court. Why not? They are the most powerful base. They vote. They are the most dedicated base that vote. When they vote their numbers, they really vote their numbers, right? So why they're not represented on the Supreme Court? Why they're not represented in the White House in the seat of power? It is time that a black woman become the vice president. It is time that a black woman become president. It is time that black women be into the Supreme Court as well, because it's a black woman. Look at the entrepreneur race, is very high. Look how so many college educated of black women, very high. Democrats, the reason why they are sitting down and being in power, a lot of it is because of the help of black women voting. Not saying that black men don't vote, but black women vote higher rate than even black men. So again, that's why I think it will be great and a good business move politically for Mr. Biden to pick somebody like a Stacey Abrams. Certainly, I do not know you have all of this in you. And that is what it is. The reason why we don't talk much about politics is because I know what it is. This is a celebrity gossip show, but every once in a while, if I feel it in my spirit, I will bring up politics, right? Every once in a while, I might talk about Michelle Obama book Becoming. Every once in a while, I might talk about President Obama. Every once in a while, I might talk about Brother Malcolm. Even Brother Malcolm started to understand that politics matters. He started talking to African unions. He started to say, hey, we need to be unified. He started to go and get into politics on the international stage But at first, he didn't really believe in politics and government and all that. Then he started to change, all right? So you have to understand, then he started talking about the ballot or the bullet. So, I mean, it's a lot of things. I just want people to really educate themselves about it. Even Minister Farrakhan, when he did the Million Man March, he said that we have registered so many millions, but he wished that they would have done a better job on the political side, because even Minister Farrakhan had to come out and admit that politics is a big part of it, right? So it exists. I don't care how health conscious you sound, but you already know politics is a big component of your everyday life. And we got to continue to train up our children and let them know, hey, baby, you could become a governor one day. Hey, baby, you could become a state representative one day. Hey, baby, you could become a city councilman one day. Hey, baby, you could become a surgeon general one day. You know, start talking like that, other than versus being a basketball player, baseball player. There's nothing good with that. But we also need to start putting people up that want to get into politics and promoting them and let them go viral, put them doing news conference and stuff as well, right? So, and this is another thing, what President Obama, I've heard that people would say, oh, President Obama was a terrible president that we ever had, because you know why a lot of policies didn't come into place? It's because when President Obama got elected and when he got into office, a lot of African-American people did not want to hold him accountable. We were so happy. In my humble opinion, I'm not an expert. This is how I'm going to analyze the situation. We were so excited that we did not check him when he needed to be checked. We did not go and visit the state capitol or Capitol Hill and let it be known. No, we demand change. You got to demand change. And you got to make sure you invest and make sure you stay on top of these politicians. Because if you don't, they are not going to do. Politicians work well when you apply pressure. And you got to continue to apply pressure every single day. It is some groups that exist in this world that understand that
90
if we continue
seconds.
to apply pressure, we continue to fund, if we will continue to campaign, change will happen. And we look at the LGBT community, that's why their agenda was able to get passed.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
That's why
Goodbye.
they're able to give money to Israel. So it's a lot of different people, a lot of groups that understand that if we continue to apply pressure and continue to campaign, continue to network, we're going to make sure we get something from the table. We ain't like these other groups that say, I'm going to sit on down. I ain't going to do nothing. Everybody else gets something from the table, and we still screaming job, justice, equality. Because we don't understand, we got to demand these things from our leaders, right? And we have to do a better job by networking and making sure we continue to apply pressure to those people in power, right? Even when they came up to Jesus, they said, Jesus, should we pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus said, render unto Caesar, Caesar, render unto God, God. Even they tried to tell Jesus, well, we Christians, we should pay no tax. Even Jesus had to answer the question dealing with something in government. Even he said, render unto God, God, render unto Caesar, Caesar. So that'll let you know that God even respects government, because he know government is a part of life. So wherever you are, it's a part of life, right? It's a part of us. It's a part of our existence, right? And we can't change it if we get involved. That energy, get involved. Because when I run for public office, you're going to see the resistance. You're going to see the different change. And need more young black folks, conscious folks, woke for all these woke folks need to be in city council. You so woke, you need to be running for office. You so woke, you need to be, you need to be working in the county places. All you woke folks, it's time for you to be so woke that you start running for office and bring in change, right? If you that woke, woke folks need to be running for office, and get into these offices. So, because that's one of my goals, to run for office. I already know what they're going to bring up. They're going to bring up they're going to bring up a whole lot of stuff, but that ain't going to stop me from running for president or governor or state representative or anything like that. If you have not because you ask not. Faith without works is dead. Believe in yourself, put that work in so you can have a change system. If you're not willing to be a part of the solution, you are a part of the problem, right? That is what it is. All right. Well, if you love this type of content, you love us, if you want to be a blessing to us, please do so. And I want to give a special shout out to the lady. She donated for us to get a green screen So our green screen is on the way. I'm gonna take a screenshot of it. Green screen is on the way. Then somebody else said they might get the microphone. I believe they're working on getting that. So if you want to be a blessing, let it be known. You can just put towards the show. So we're definitely doing that. So I want to give a special shout out to everybody that have been a blessing to us. Patreon people, we will go live tomorrow on Patreon. So because it's too late to do it tonight, we will go live tomorrow on Patreon. So we're going to put a post on Patreon, so we'll see what time it will be best for us to go. Somebody said, yes, nobody for presidential governor, money. Folks rather run for their mouth and spread misinformation than be proactive and involved when it counts. Right, because I used to be ignorant like that. I'm like, oh, let me start getting involved. Let me start getting into politics. You know, shout out to Joel Jones, the youngest state representative in Michigan. I personally believe one day he will become governor of Michigan. I hope and pray he does run for governor, or even Congress. You know, one day he was young and he started run for office, and he even told us, he said, listen, y'all, power, we got to start getting into those rooms so we can make a change. And because of that, he started to work with different people across the aisles and help folks with drug offenses and help get drug offenses off your record. So there's a lot of things that he has been doing. He's doing a great job. And we actually interviewed Joel Jones, the youngest state representative in Michigan. I don't know if he's still the youngest, but he's a young man. He went to college. He done a lot of stuff and done stuff in the military. And he came on our program. We can wear masks and gloves all day, but what is the biggest organ of your body? Your skin. So you're not covering the whole body. Account effects. Just saying, let us get the likes up. They said, don't worry about that. Somebody said should sue. People should sue the government, and even we're still dealing with in Flint, Michigan, with a water crisis. It's a lot that's going on, and that's why we have to make sure we get more engaged. The numbers for November, we should be voting more now than we ever have. Look at all the young Black women that became judges. Right? Look at the change. So some people, it's people that really waking up and said, listen, we won't change. We're going to have to do it ourselves and get involved. You are hated to your diversified knowledge, love you. Right. We're going to have to get involved for change. One day, you didn't really see a cockeyed blogger with yellow teeth with a snotty nose on camera. But one day, and now you're seeing one. So if you want to see a representative that sometimes they got boogers fly out their nose, get up on camera. And now you see me up on camera. It is what it is. And look at me now. Now we're growing. We're almost at 10,000. So at the end of the day, it's room for you to be at the table. So make sure you definitely just do it. So I definitely see everybody want me to get updated with the Tasha, with the Neeks and everything. We see everything. We get updates. If I feel like interest to get up on there, I'll talk about it. So I'm listening to it in my ear. They said order. Yes, and make sure y'all order the merchandise. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so very much. We've been on here for 2 hours. Again, if you have a problem with your state or local level, it is time that you wake up and get involved. All right? So I'm having Cash App, your replay, and all that. Just don't get caught up in no hotel room. Oh, definitely don't get caught up in no hotel room. I'm learning for that, baby. Ain't nobody coming. You got to go through a whole staff camera team of missionary Black women. You know, you got to get a team because, you know, people will definitely try you. Okay? I know how it is. I'm learning from experience. A lot of stuff I ain't gonna be doing, especially for that meeting where we're gonna have NDAs. People gonna be witnesses, gonna be there strong. People gonna be there 3 or 4 witnesses. You ain't gonna be able to come up to me. You gotta get through an entourage of Black people. Everywhere I go, you gonna know exactly where we're at. Okay. And all that type of stuff. No, I'm not sharing no COVID video. I ain't gonna share the video or Airbnb. You could drop the number for people to be added to the notification. Let me drop the number for people to be added to the notification. So all that type of stuff. Oh, Lord. Let me put that in there so if you want to be notified. Yes. So we want to make sure that we're going to be safe. Because, you know, people be trying it and all that type of stuff. So we don't know if we're going to have a meet and greet in November because, child, this pandemic, we don't know when it's going to be over. Anything that is airtight could get in your eyes and everything like that. So be safe. Wear masks. Wash your hands. Take a shower. Take care of your body. Thank you so very much. And I got to go. Let me put my little outro. Yeah. With the outro. Here we go.
Yeah, hope y'all had a good time on the Wiley Show. And as always, hit that cash app at Marquise Wiley 28. That's MarquisCWiley 28. Hit us up at PO Box 701122, Dallas, Texas 75370. Follow Wiley on Instagram at Wiley Show. Until then, see you next time.